time for real honest conversation with Eric David and Jason Howard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes.
Come
and
on.
That's the significance of it. So the film, again, it's no worse or no better than any other superhero movie. Like, it fits right in with this DC sort of Marvel superhero universe. But the significance of that film is that we are, black people were put in a position of positive influence.
Right.
And instead of us playing the stereotypical, I'm just going to say it, the N-word roles, and I'll tell the story.
Isn't it true that in a lot of the films in the past, like even other movies, like the first person to die in a movie is usually
the black guy.
The black guy, right?
Yeah, so it's all these films where we have to like scream and shout and tap dance and oh man and all that stuff.
Right.
Like this was black people shown in a positive light. I loved it, and this is not the only one. You had Hidden Figures, and films like that. So I liked the shift.
Yeah.
What Jason is referring to. So Black Panther was good, but the best thing about it was the message it sent out.
Yeah.
So what Jason was referring to. So I had an audition, and I'll tell the story. One of my last auditions. This is why I stopped acting, and I feel like I've got the acting bug back, so I may hop back into it. But I was auditioning for a John Travolta movie, and I went in with the casting director and the casting director's assistant. And so I had my lines, learned them, and the lady was like, okay, you ready? I was like, yep, I did my slate. And she said, okay, go ahead. They recorded, and I did my, read off my part, and it was very calm, very subdued, because when you watch films, you know, outside of the black films, it's not like, it's not overacting. Right. And so I did it really calm, like you would see it in a film.
Yeah.
And she said, and when I was done, she was like, okay, that was good, but could you give me more? For all of you people out there, when a casting director tells you she wants more or he wants more, you can be suspicious. Now, when they say, could you give me more and could you make it more urban, that's when they want you to tap dance. That's when they want you to be the stereotypical N-word guy and they want you to go crazy.
That's gross.
So, yeah. So I was like, okay, all right, fine. So she pressed record. I did it again. I gave a little bit more, but it wasn't overacting, right? I've done stuff where I've overacted, but it sort of fit the role. This one, no. You need to be calm. It's a film.
Yeah.
So I gave a little bit more. Okay, did it. Turned off the camera. That was better, but could you give me more? At this point, I was like, oh, she wants me to wild out. So, like, she wants me to be that stereotypical black guy. Yeah. So in my mind at that point, I was like,
I don't want the part.
Yeah, I don't want the part. I'm gonna blow this audition on purpose. I don't want this anymore. So she said, are you ready? And I was like, okay, fine. So she hit record, and I just went crazy. I didn't want it anymore. I'm gonna blow this on purpose. Then she turned off the camera, and the worst part is she was a black casting director, and her assistant was black, and I could tell her assistant didn't like the directions that the casting director was giving me because it was like, oh man, she's making him do this.
So they were jumping through the hoops of what the casting director.
Yes.
So this wasn't their preference necessarily.
I don't know. It may not have been their preference, but I'm like, man, it feels like, you know, when black people sold black people into slavery, because that happened. Look it up. It's not just white people, but black people did it too.
That's true.
And it's like, I feel like it's a small bit of that. It's like a little bit of that, like, come on, dance for the white man. And so I go home, I get a phone call. They love that last one.
Wow.
I was like, oh man.
But
I'm like,
it goes against everything.
Goes against everything I've got. Yeah, I stand for. And so I was like, oh, what do I do? And so my agent was all excited. Hey, you got a call back. You're going to meet the producers and the directors and da-da-da-da-da-da. I was like, man, I could use the money, I need the money.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, it goes against everything I believe. So what am I going to do? Well, I mean, I went to the callback and I was like, and everybody was really nice. But I just went again because I was like, I don't want it. I probably shouldn't have gone, but you want a good relationship with your agent.
Yeah.
And I would have ruined the relationship because she'd be like, why aren't you going? Why aren't you doing this?
Which then she wouldn't be fighting for you and trying to put you in other parts.
Right. So you're gonna lose a lot of work because of this one. But that's what this whole, this whole, I hate to go into the Me Too thing, but that's what this whole thing is like. There are people in positions of power. If you don't do what they say, and the entertainment industry, though it's worldwide, it's a small group of people. So if you offend you don't know who you're offending.
You could cut yourself off for a lifetime.
So now you have to make a decision. Am I going to do this, or am I going to keep my morals and what I believe in? And I knew at that point, I was like, okay, I'm done. And I stopped acting because I'm like, if this is what I have to do to get work, and these are the roles that I'm getting, and it's not just me, it's a lot of, I'll talk to other black people. It's those same roles. I'm like, I this isn't the right industry for me. So when we see Black Panther and we see Green Book and we see all these films that portray black people in a positive light, it gets me excited because now those days of tap dancing are being pushed to the side, and now we can tell stories that get me excited, and this gets me excited to get back into acting. I'm like, I like
this particular movie.
Well, this movie, but this whole that movement of showing black people in a positive light, gets me
like the Green Book, and
like the Green Book. There's controversy surrounding that, but yes, like Green Book. Dr. Shirley, he was a great pianist. Black Panther, positive light, Hidden Figures. These ladies were crazy smart, crazy smart. They were the computers before computers, or modern computers. They
were the backbones.
Yes, and so that's why I'm excited. I'd love to get back into acting, and I think I had to go through all of that stuff to know who I was and what I will and won't accept. But that's why it bothers me when I see people like Madea. Medea's Family Reunion and Big Mama's House.
It's kind of like the cheap laugh.
It is the cheap laugh, but it's not hate. This is how it is. They are A-listers. So, Tyler Perry is an A-lister. He creates opportunities for a lot of people. Eddie Murphy, A-lister. Who did Martin Lawrence? These are A-list movie stars. Right. And if they are tap dancing, I don't want to say tap dance, that's bad, but if they're putting on dresses to get a laugh, and that's the move, those are the opportunities that they are taking, that trickles down. So if the head honchos, if the A-listers accept those roles,
right,
then Hollywood is like, okay, everybody else below them has to accept it. So that trickles down to small guys like me. They're going to say, well, these big guys did it, so we want more of that. So what you guys at the top accept, that is what the industry is going to allow.
Wow.
And that's my beef.
So there is a responsibility.
There is a responsibility
to make sure that you're picking.
Yes,
not the cheap laugh.
Not the cheap laugh. Don't portray us in a bad light, because we, the little guys, suffer when you guys do accept those things for 10 million or whatever it is.
That's powerful, man. That's really powerful. And I'm sure that there are a lot of guys listening to this going, I needed to hear that.
If you like what we've got going on,
we've got it going on.
Click the button to subscribe so you don't miss a thing.
Yeah, baby.